that brings us to Sharon Geller. Thanks for calling in today, Sharon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, there you are. All right, lost you for a minute. Hi, Bob. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Hi, Sharon. Always look forward to this part of the show.
I know.
Raises our spirits.
I hope that's my intention. What do you want to start with, Adam?
Your jokes.
My jokes. Okay,
Always.
Here we go. Number one. A guy puts an ad in the newspaper that his talking dog is for sale for $10. A guy answers the ad and says, "A talking dog? I don't believe it." Shows up at the door and says, "I got to see this dog." Well, the dog comes to the door and says, "I am indeed a talking dog. I worked for years for the CIA doing undercover work in France. And then I worked for the FBI in Russia. After that, I did some undercover work in the Middle East with the Mossad." The guy says, "Wow, this dog is fantastic. Why on earth would you want to sell a talking dog for $10? And the owner says, "That dog is such a liar. He never did any of those things." Number two, what is a medical condition called when old Jewish men in Miami wear highs around their necks that are too heavy?
Oh, no.
Hiatal hernia.
Oh.
You saw that coming, Adam. Come on.
I was thinking about mental health issues. But
Why would you be thinking about mental health?
I've
you're
seen
talking
those
to
high,
me. I don't know.
I've seen those high
Number three, one day a cop pulls over a van and he walks up to the window and he sees 10 penguins in the back. The cop asks the driver, "Are those your penguins?" The guy says, "Yes, they are. They're my pets." The cop says, "Listen, you need to take those to the zoo right now." The guy says, "Okay," and he drives off. The next day, the cop pulls over the same van with the same 10 penguins, but this time they're wearing sunglasses. The cop says, "I thought I told you to take those penguins to the zoo." The guy says, "I did. Today we're going to the beach." All right, number four, this is in honor of Passover. A group of leading medical researchers have published data indicating that if you attend a Seder, you should definitely not eat chopped liver and cirrhosis at the same time because the combination could lead to cirrhosis of the liver.
No.
I know, you saw that, Colin. All right, here we go. Number five. If a doctor carries a black bag and a plumber carries a toolbox, what does a mohel carry? A brisket.
Oh.
All right. Oh, and Adam, just for you, because it's Pesach, I have your Chai95 moment of the week, words to live by. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
So, thanks, Sharon. Those are great. Now, you went to the Philadelphia Theater Company's Bruce Graham play, The Outgoing Tide, and you seem to like it, from what I understand.
Liked it very much. The acting is just incredible. Richard Poe plays Gunnar Concannon, who's the lead actor in that. His wife is Robin Mosley, and Anthony Lawton, who's a local actor, plays his son, Jack. It's written, as you said, by Bruce Graham, directed by James J. Christie. They've actually teamed together about 10 times now. And it's a hard story. It's about a man who is slowly losing his mind due to Alzheimer's, and he's still sane enough to want to plan his final moments because he wants to make sure his family is safe. And so he plans a way to die so that they can be the beneficiary of his will. And basically, it's about not wanting to deteriorate in a nursing home and end up in diapers. And so it raises some really serious questions.
I could understand how that would be a little uncomfortable to see for a lot of the theater-going audience in Philadelphia, which tends to be a little old. But it also reminds me of some things I've seen recently. On Golden Pond, I saw the movie again. I don't love the movie, but it reminds me of that. And,
let me interject, Sharon. I'm a little disturbed, actually. I like to watch my TV series, and there was a recent one where Criminal Minds it was, and the ex-wife of one of the lead characters is dying from Lou Gehrig's disease, and she commits suicide. Mm-hmm. My experience has been my own ex-wife nursed her own mother, who was 98 years old, whose mind was clear, but she was 98 years old, and I was very, very impressed by her devotion to her mother. And there is something about this idea of committing suicide, and that is very disturbing to me.
Well, I know there's a lot of people who would agree with you, and I can understand why you're saying that. This wasn't so much not wanting to care for the one who was elderly and needing in care. In fact, just the opposite. The wife definitely said, "I'll do anything you want. I even won't put you in a nursing home. I'll just care for you here at home, but don't do this." He pretty much, he went to see the home, and the lead character pretty much said, "I don't want to end up not knowing who I am in diapers." I think there's a big difference, too, in you saying that your ex-wife's mother was clear of mind,
mm-hmm.
And was aware of everything. I mean, it's really, it's such a subjective topic. It's really a hard
Reminds
call.
me of also the Media Theater's production of Wings, which was about someone who was losing their mind, and also Next to Normal, which dealt with mental health issues. Let me just ask you, I don't know if you heard about the 2012-13 Broadway season that the Kimmel Center just announced. Any thoughts on any of these shows? War Horse, Catch Me If You Can, $1 Million Quartet, Jekyll and Hyde, The Addams Family, Sister Act, and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing Adam's Family because that was something that I didn't get to see on Broadway. I think in general the Kimmel Center does a great job of presenting touring companies of Broadway shows. I mean, I saw West Side Story. Even though I wasn't thrilled about the connection between Tony and Maria, I thought that the production was a good production. Fella was fantastic. So I think that they, it's like anything else. It can be hit and miss, but usually they do a good job.
The only one of the group I've seen is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I saw that on Broadway with Will Swenson. Tony Sheldon was out, and Nick Adams was in it that day. The three originals, and those characters are still in it. And I actually really liked it a lot. I mean, you wouldn't think that someone who's conservative and at least tries to be religious would like a story about two drag queens and a transsexual going through the Australian desert. But it's not an obvious show for someone with those views. But if you know that going in, you don't have a problem with it, you'll have fun. It's not like indoctrinating the way Avenue Q or Rent is, and the main characters laugh at themselves. I happen to love the disco era, and that predominantly is from where the songs come. It's even Passover appropriate, Jews who are
maybe you're not as conservative as you think you are.
Well, I just know when I go into things, but it's people in the desert who are kind of lost and people who are a little over dramatic. But that's a fun show I recommend, and that's the one of the group I'm most looking forward to seeing again. Sharon Geller, thanks for coming on. Kim Halloran, thanks for engineering.
My pleasure. Thanks, Bob.
And Bob Guzzardi, thelibertyblog.org. Thank you for co-hosting again.